how's it going? Welcome back. Today I will be doing grenade launcher only against the automatons. This is, well, no, I mean, I actually think this was not the faction that the grenade launcher struggled the most against, which I kind of expected it to be, just because of the prevalence of anti-tank armor. But the grenade launcher having heavy penetration means you really don't have to worry about a lot of that for the most part. I also think the boss is the most boring, so I'm going to talk way less about what I'm actually doing in the mission, and more about the grenade launcher overall, and probably loadout ideas if you want to run this, but don't want to do a challenge run of grenade launcher only, pretty much. First things first, I spawned under a jammer. Love that. This is always why I try not to do hot drops on bots, just because you can run into that. What I'm doing right here is I'm running to go ping the jammer first to make sure I know where it is, just in case I go the wrong way. I ping that shit, turn around, run over there to call on my grenade launcher, because until then I can't really kill anything. So what did the grenade launcher change to heavy penetration change for this front? Well, you can just one tap the reinforced scout striders, like just shooting center mass pretty much. Literally, the grenade launcher I don't think can actually really damage weak points, so for basically every enemy, you're just kind of shooting center mass. The only time you're not is if center mass is anti-tank armor instead of heavy. Which there are a couple of, there are a couple enemies like that on the bot front, but I'll point out which ones those are.
Objective nearby.
The loadout is literally just supply pack grenade launcher, very similar to last video. I do promise, after I have finished these 3 videos about specifically this loadout, like this grenade launcher challenge, I will stay away from grenade launcher and supply pack, because I feel like my channel is looking a little one note. Now what I was doing there, I was shooting at his feet. Why did I do that? If you shoot directly at the Hulk, you are dealing damage to its main health pool, because it's heavy. Well, the grenade launcher has heavy penetration, so you're just kind of laying grenades into its front, which has heavy armor. If you shoot and have the grenade somehow land either adjacent or right behind it, or you get to a point where the explosive is hitting the back of it, it will die faster. That used to be the only way to kill Hulks with the grenade launcher when it was medium penetration, and it's still more efficient. However, I mean, if you run a supply pack and you don't have an issue with ammo, especially if you have 4 other players and your only job is kill the Hulk real quick, you can just fucking spam grenades at its face. No one's gonna stop you. It's not an issue. Here we come across our first factory strider in this mission. Oh yeah, I just 2-tap tank. You can 2-tap basically any tank if you can hit their heatsink. The rocket tanks or whatever they're called don't have heat sinks. You can just 2-tap them anywhere on that top part, their turret basically. This map is very, very good this biome is very, very good for against automatons. It's not really great for the grenade launcher specifically, but it's good against automatons. There's a lot of cover. I originally kind of wanted to stress test the grenade launcher and actually fight, in an unfavorable biome, but the problem was this mission type, the evacuate priority citizens, is very rare, kind of. Here I'm going to do something like here. You can hit the back heatsink. Basically, if you can get anywhere near those back corners, you're good. You can just destroy the heatsink with the explosion radius. Anyways. Yeah, I'm really just walking around this fortress and doing it this way because I don't really want to fight the factory strider. I think even if I wasn't running the grenade launcher, I still wouldn't want to fight the factory strider. They are just very cumbersome, and you really never ever have to actually worry about them, because you can always just run away from them. The only downside really is if you're playing on a super open map. Here's another example. If you can hit the heatsink on the tank, it is just 2-tap with the grenade launcher. It's really, really, really good. Yeah. Here I'm prioritizing killing these guys because I don't really want to deal with reinforcements. Running around the factory strider is already kind of annoying enough, so I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. I don't really want to deal with the second one. Now, if you really wanted to, you could kill the factory starter with a grenade launcher. Probably not in the way you're thinking. You can't just like spam. Actually, you might. I haven't really tested it. I have to look into more about the weak points of a factory starter. But a lot of the factory starter is covered in specifically anti-tank armor. Now, if you're not doing like a grenade launcher only challenge, you can fucking just hit the head with one ultimatum shot and then spam grenades, and you will probably kill it faster than your team's recoilless rifle user, because they have to reload between there, and you can just do one ultimatum shot, swap your grenade launcher, mag dump, dead factory strider, move on. However, I don't have anything that can do anti-tank, so I don't have anything to crack the armor to kill from range, so I'm kind of just like, whatever, I'll deal with it later. And by later, I mean I'm just going to run away. Because there's just, I mean, when you're like, the objective's pretty much done. I don't really have to hold this point for any reason, so I leave. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to stress test this a lot more. I wanted a mission that had a convoy, because I did a test run with this where I had a mission that had a convoy, and while it is doable, it is the upper limits of what the grenade launcher can do. And a lot of it relies on the fact that the automatons have a very bad habit of doing friendly fire. So if you approach the, I'm calling the resupply here because it's on the edge of the stratagem jammer. That's why I like turned around mid run over. And I have to do the stratagem jammer before that side objective because I need to call down an SSD, I think, and I can't do that while the jammer's up. That's what's going through my mind right now in the game. Back to the killing a convoy with a grenade launcher. You have to approach from behind, and then I still shoot their stomachs, which is technically possible, or technically was possible before the change to make it heavy penetration. However, it's a lot easier now because you can deal with a whole bunch of patrols and everything by just kind of spamming grenades into like bot drops. It kills troopers, kills scout striders, kills heavy devastators. Grenade launcher is probably one of my favorite weapons for killing heavy devastators, especially the ones that are like shield devastators, because you can just shoot the shield and the shield is held so closely to them that the explosion damage goes right through and will just damage them too. It's really, really, really good. But however, this mission was very, very rare, so I had to kind of just find whatever planet had this mission on it. I couldn't like shop. I don't see any enemies up there. I think the hit marker I got was destroying the turret, but it's always a good idea to lob a grenade up into those, because a lot of times there's little automaton troopers chilling up there. And they keep getting very close to getting a bot drop off, but the grenade launcher, even if it doesn't kill, like if you have them on the very outer edge of the explosion, it will stagger them, preventing the bot drop anyways. I think here is a very good example, maybe. Oh no, I think I just spammed grenades at him. Nope, he gets stuck. So here's a good example. If you can put those grenades behind him, he dies in like 2-3 grenades, compared to like spamming like half a clip into his face. But it's not always possible. Sometimes you just have to spam into his face. If you're running supply pack, it really doesn't matter. Here I try and do the same thing. You want to shoot like between his legs, but I think I end up having to just do full damage and spam at him pretty much. Yep. So factory starters are a little difficult, but the bots are very notorious for doing friendly fire on each other. So realistically, you can just... I was coming over to check my minimap because I could see the little dots moving in, and I wanted to make sure they weren't troopers. But I didn't think there was a safe way for me to shoot down from there with the grenade launcher without it ending up at my feet. Here I noticed this is stacked jammers. I don't know why pretty much every time I do a fucking bot video, it's stacked jammers, but whatever. Kind of annoying. I'm running this to the backside of the site to see if there's anywhere I can call down a Hellbomb, because even if I could get it down here, I might be able to just destroy this and not worry about it later. I ping where the jammer is, but I think, hey, maybe I could probably get this objective done beforehand, because I think it's on the edge, but we'll see. I don't know how that guy survived that first shot when he was already damaged. Every Devastator takes 2 shots. They die to the explosion radius. You don't need a direct hit, but it's not gonna do less damage if you hit them indirectly. Scout Striders, they can be 1-tapped with grenade launcher. Sometimes it's 2 taps. It seems a little inconsistent. Again, I'm trying to hit his back from from the front. That sounds kind of weird, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to hit the heat sink with the grenade launcher by placing them behind him. This is one of the reasons why this specific map is not exactly favorable for the grenade launcher. When you knock down a tree, the tree has like a falling tree animation where it kind of like falls into the ground, and during that time it maintains its hitbox. So it ends up to where it looks like the tree is falling, and it looks like you might be able to shoot through it because the texture is just kind of like dropping through the ground, but it's basically just like a wall falling down in front of you, which is not ideal if you're using an explosive weapon, obviously. Now, why am I talking about the grenade launcher so much anyways? Why is it so good? Why do I care? Well, it kind of trivializes build diversity. It is so unbelievably good that if anyone ever like recommends a build with the grenade launcher in it, I just think, well, yeah, it does. The rest of the build doesn't really matter because the grenade launcher can do absolutely everything. Because typically, when you make a build, you need to keep in mind 3 specific like facets of what you want, and those are, you want to be able to clear explosive objectives. Now what I'm talking about when I say that is I'm talking specifically about bot fabricators and bug holes or warp ships. Those all need some kind of explosive. Here I'm finding the edge of the jammer again, so I can call it another resupply. This is the second jammer. The first one did not rearm. So you want to be able to clear explosive objectives. The grenade launcher is already very good at that. I would never like suggest taking that away. That would kind of not make a whole lot of sense. The second thing is being able to clear chaff. Now, a lot of times when people make builds, a lot of times this will be mostly covered by your primary and like your grenade, like gas grenade plus like tenderizer, and you're kind of chilling on most seeds, or like incendiary grenade plus like the breaker with the duckbill choke, and then that's kind of the meta for illuminate. It's normally covered by those. However, the grenade launcher is a support weapon that's very, very good at chaff clear. Before the buff, it was the best at chaff clear. After the buff, nothing has changed. It is still the best at chaff clear. And then what a lot of people do is they will bring a support weapon specifically for anti-tank, the last facet of what you need to be able to do. But the problem is that this recent buff has taken the grenade launcher, which was already very, very good for closing explosive objectives, and also already very, very good for here. I'm shooting these hulks. You can kill both of the hulks if they're stacked on top of each other like this, but you want to prioritize troopers. Always, 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 always prioritize troopers if there's not a bot drop yet. But yeah, back to what I was saying. It's a really good chaff clear weapon. It was the best chaff clear weapon pretty much before the update, where it was moved to heavy pen, and it's still the best chaff clear weapon after the update. It's really, really good at closing bug holes. I don't know if I would call it. No, maybe I would call it the best. It is really, really good. Its competition is like crossbow, eruptor, the harpoon gun. So it's just kind of comes down to personal preference at that point, and ease of access for some of them. Like some of those you can close bug holes you're basically standing on top of without killing yourself, but some of the other ones are more what's the word? Take longer to arm or rearm, like mid firefight, etc. Anyways, I don't want to take those two things from it at all. However, it has become really, really good at anti-tank now, all of a sudden, for what seems like no reason. And I don't really think that it should be that, because it's so unbelievably well-rounded now that and it's so good at everything it does that it feels like there's very little reason to bring anything else. And it's such a strange issue, because I don't think I saw a single person ever advocate for grenade launcher to have heavy penetration. It's just when the Siegebreaker's War Bond came out, they were just like, hey, the grenade launcher's heavy pen now. And the community was like, oh, okay, sure, I guess. Now, I am only advocating for this to get changed back. And honestly, if it doesn't get changed back, if this becomes the standard that things are like buffed around, okay, that's fine. But the thing that I'm worried about is this isn't going to become the standard. The thing that I'm worried about is they're going to look at this, and instead of walking back the changes they just did, that instead they're going to basically change the grenade launcher's damage. And the problem with that is that the grenade launcher currently does 400 damage, which is it's a really nice breakpoint, because on the bug front, that is like it's the perfect damage to kill basically every small chaff unit, which is why it filled its role so unbelievably well. And then on this front, I think it's just enough to 2-tap Devastators. I think they have about 750 health. So if you start lowering the grenade launcher's damage, the amount of shots needed to kill these smaller units will increase. And for the grenade launcher, which is already being balanced around its ammo economy, they are going to kill the weapon identity, and it's probably going to move from chaff clear and what it's always been so good at to anti-tank only, which in my opinion would be a huge shame. But we'll see what happens. This fortress, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is going to be like, I'm gonna stop talking about the grenade launcher for a second and talk about the gameplay, because this is a masterclass in how not to do a fortress. I shoot the Fabricator right next to myself, and it kills me. And you might think, okay, that's kind of funny, that's kind of stupid. Then I land on the turret in the middle of all of them when I'm doing a challenge where I can't kill anything until I have my support weapon back. If you're thinking, wow, his genius is truly frightening, then you're absolutely right. Thankfully, I get ragdolled in the correct direction, and I get my stuff back. And I get ragdolled even farther away. And there's a bot drop coming down. Now, it makes the most sense to leave this objective and return at a later date. I think everyone watching can agree on that. There's a bot drop, it's a whole fortress, there's a factory starter there now because you can hear it land. Do I do that? No. I don't do that at all. Because, I mean, honestly, up until now, the mission's been very, very easy. It's just been kind of like walking around objectives and destroying Fabricators. It hasn't been very much combat. It's just been kind of like walk around, do objective. And so I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. I can forcibly get this done. And, you know, I probably can. But, like, why bother is what I'm thinking. And so I'm thinking, oh, nice. I opened up a nice way into it. Oh, there's a tank sitting there. And I miss my second shot that would have killed the Blitzer tank. That is a real shame. Because this has become a very hard point to push into. And now, like, I keep trying to push around, but there's constantly troopers spawning because of the Fabricators. There's still 5 Fabricators up. I have made, like, next to no progress on this fortress. And I'm still thinking, man, I could totally do this. I'm using an explosive weapon in what's essentially close quarter combat at this point. And finally, I get a good idea. I'm like, okay, we're going to go this way. Let's clear out the mines. We're going to run up this hill. And I see a factory starter, and I think, you know, maybe, maybe we're gonna take our chances going up the same way that I already had so much trouble coming up. That is literally constantly swarmed with troopers. And then, for my magnum opus of thinking right here, I think, what if I just climb over the wall into direct line of sight of all of these and try and hop over the tank? And while that doesn't sound like a terrible idea on paper, in practice, I'm forgetting the fact that I will probably be almost immediately ragdolled. I'd climb, jump over, and then immediately fucking killed. It's not good. I was not smart. And then I'd still have not learned my lesson. I'm like, you know what? Get me back in there. I do, at the very least, have the decency to realize running back in there to grab my shit is going to immediately get me killed. Let me recall it. At the very least. I'm also thankful that, like, I don't know. It's like this mission was very easy. I have like no real complaints about this mission at all. But I wish I could have stress tested the grenade launcher a lot more, because one of the most hated enemies on the bot front is bunker turrets, and the grenade launcher 2-taps them from literally anywhere because of heavy pen. There, I'm able to put the grenades right behind the Hulk, so it hits his heat sink. He's dead in 3 grenades. Yeah, so I wish I had more bunker turrets, which said no one ever, but I do. Dude, I just realized one of those grenades, the one that like hit the ground and then flicked up, went into the Fabricator, I think, into one of the vents. That's pretty sick. I didn't even realize what happened to it when I played this. Yeah, at this point I'm kind of just running through because most of the bot drop's dead now. There's a factory starter on the other end, but I'm kind of not worrying about it. I do realize I have to kill a lot of things on me, except for this guy. This guy's chill. I'm gonna leave him alive for a little bit. So I wish there was more bunker turrets because a lot of people struggle with them, and grenade launcher is very, very good against them. I wish I had a convoy because in my test mission, you're able to do it. It's hard, but it pushes the grenade launcher to the limit. And then the last thing is I wish this was a War Strider seed because it would really demonstrate just how little you need anti-tank with the grenade launcher. And it, like that seems backwards compared to how long I've been playing this game and how much you need an anti-tank throughout the rest of this game's life cycle. Here, I have zero clue where the factory starter went. He is vanished into thin air without me ever leaving the fortress, so I have no clue what happened with the spawns there. But he is just gone. Anyways, yeah, I wish there was a couple things differently with the seed, but this mission was very, very hard for me to find on any bot planet, so I kind of just had to take what I could get. And I think the reason I specifically chose this mission is because it's available on all 3 fronts, so it was like a very even comparison. But I can't, I don't know if the constellation for this specifically like makes sure there's no War Striders or not, because both my test run, which I did have a convoy, which I was able to do, it was just hard, and a lot of the damage was dealt by the factory stars shooting themselves, because you come from the back, and all of the turrets on the top of them turn to look at you. Yeah, and then this was the only one available when I was like actually recording, which is kind of unfortunate, but it still proves the point. Like, it's so weird because this buff goes against how the devs have intended you to play the game. Based on their own admission that they do not want you to have loadouts, they don't want you to have saved loadouts, they want you to be able to experiment and work with different things on different fronts. And this specific weapon with the grenade launch, with the supply pack to like deal with its ammo economy issue a little bit, it literally trivializes the entire game to the point where you can bring it on every single front and never have to use anything else ever. I literally already have the video for bugs, grenade launcher only, already recorded. I just need to do the voiceover for it, and then I'm probably going to stagger the upload by a day so that I'm uploading a video every day. Just because that feels more consistent, and that kind of matches with what I, as a viewer would want to see. But if people have any suggestions or issues with that, let me know in the comments. I can retune my upload schedule. I can upload in bursts or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. Here I'm thinking, okay, once this is done, we're gonna beeline straight for that. I didn't really talk about it earlier, but I made my plan for how I was gonna clear the map by seeing this car earlier, which is why I did the fortress first, because I didn't want to come back to this side of the map once I was done. I figured since the car is here, I can go straight to the final objective and get that done immediately. At this point, I had 2 jammers and the rogue research station done, and I know that right up next to Extract, to the northeast of it, is a Siege SAM site. And I can tell because that little like square that you can see on the terrain is kind of a dead giveaway. So I know where 4 out of 5 of my side objectives are, and with 16 minutes left, I'm not stressing it, because on bot missions specifically, so much of the time, one of those or more of those side objectives will show up in like little red encampments. So I figure I'll just find it when I clear the rest of the map. We'll revisit that later, but that is my assumption at this point, because as you can see, 2 of the red like parts on the map was jammers. So like I'm not stressing it. I figure I'll probably find all the objectives. If I can't find them after I have cleared most of the map, then I'll probably start stressing it a little bit. But yeah, I want to head in and get started on. I can't go that way because it's mines, but I want to head in and get started on this main objective because it does have a tendency to take a while. Just because sometimes they can call bot drops and just delay your progress by a lot. But that's what I'm currently thinking. Back to the grenade launcher. Yeah. So if they retune the numbers of the grenade launcher, it will kill the weapon. It like 100%. Like, and right now it's overused because it has heavy pen. It is unbelievably good. And right now there's not so big of a change on this front, but when I get to the bug video, there's a huge change because now you never need to swap off the grenade launcher to kill chargers, bile titans, impalers. Like impalers were already like, okay, once he drops his tentacles, you're able to like hit his weak point. Now you don't even need to do that. You just pick a leg and shoot the fuck out of that leg, and they die almost at the same rate as if you were waiting for them to drop their tentacles. It's just kind of ridiculous, and I think that it has made the grenade launcher easier to use, which is impressive considering the grenade launcher was already unbelievably easy to use. It has no ability to damage weak points, so your strategy for every single enemy you ever come across with the grenade launcher is put crosshair on top of enemy and fire, which it just has a very low skill floor. So it's, I don't know, it just feels like it's such a weird weapon for them to buff so hard. Anyways, why did they buff this? Why do I think they buffed this? Well, I think there was potentially a couple reasons. One, the Siegebreaker Warbond release. They released it with the belt-fed grenade launcher at the same time. Now, I haven't used the belt-fed grenade launcher. It has about a third of the damage of the actual grenade launcher. I think it's 150 compared to 400, but it has a much faster fire rate, and there's no need to reload. Now, I see why they tuned the numbers they did for that specific edge case, because that, I mean, it would be a lot of damage if it shot the exact same grenades, and people would probably complain. But I'll go into that more. I think that I don't think we should take the heavy pen from the belt-fed grenade launcher. I think there's another factory starter over there. I can't really tell through the smoke. It seemed like it based on where that shot came from, and then what seemed like miniguns shooting at me. But I wasn't going to deal with this bot drop anyways. I had already kind of left the objective after hitting the buttons because I just didn't want to deal with it. I always like to leave like these kinds of objectives near the main objective, specifically so that I can leave the objective to get rid of a bot drop, bug breach, or whatever, without feeling like I'm wasting time. Because here I'm still like doing something productive. It's just, it's not, you know, it's not just like running away from the objective for no reason. And a lot of times, if something does call on the breach and there's no objectives nearby to do it, it's sometimes better just stay there and fight. But this was very fortuitous. There was a heavy outpost right next to me, so I could just fucking work on that. So why did I think? I think they buffed it to heavy pen because they wanted to release the belt-fed grenade launcher with heavy pen. Because I think it doesn't feel very good to use a belt-fed weapon that fires very fast and have to swap off of it to use anti-tank. So I could see them changing that for the feel of that weapon. I could also see them wanting to bring it more in line with the autocannon and have two weapons that are kind of all-arounders. But the problem is the grenade launcher is so much better than the autocannon. It's ridiculous. The autocannon has its niche, but its ability to change between anti-tank and flat rounds is part of what makes like the autocannon it. You know, it has its own identity. The grenade launcher, you don't need to change between any rounds. You do not need to take your finger off the fucking trigger to kill anything in this game. You just fucking fire and forget at literally everything. Whereas the autocannon, you have to change ammo type depending if you're shooting into a crowd or anti-tank with flak rounds, etc. And the autocannon is way, way, way better on the Illuminate front. In fact, it's one of my favorite weapons for that front because the flak rounds deal really well with flying enemies. You don't need to hit them. You don't need that backboard to have it explode. Flak cannons will explode once they're flak rounds will explode once they're close enough to an enemy. So it makes it very good for flying enemies. But that's not the only difference between them. The other big difference is that the autocannon requires a backpack slot, which a lot of people, I don't know, like there was a whole bunch of talk about the belt-fed grenade launcher and the maxi gun. Here, okay, for 1 second, I will talk about what I'm thinking in the game. I'm looking for the last side objective because I'm thinking, what if it's not one of these red things up here? And I'm thinking that this might be LiDAR because it just very well could be. It looks like it could be on the map. That's pretty much my only reasoning. Yeah. Anyways, back to the maxi gun, the belt-fed grenade launcher. A lot of people talk about them being balanced around you only need like one stratagem slot, but the problem is them taking when in comparison to the flip side, which is like grenade launcher plus supply pack or machine gun plus supply pack, where it's saying that it only takes one stratagem slot compared to those two. But the real big problem in my mind is the fact that it's like it doesn't seem like a great comparison because it's not forcing you to take like another stratagem slot. Here I'm waiting for all of them to get clear. I'm going to blow up all of the cars because I got stuck for a second and it costed time. But once they're clear, I literally just fucking blow up everything here. Anyways, the weapons that do not require backpack slots should be weaker because backpacks are very strong. Supply pack is probably one of the strongest like backpacks in the game. Warp pack is very good. Mobility backpacks in general, such as jetpack, not hover pack. Guard dogs. Guard dogs are really good. Like there is so many good things you can put into your backpack slot, and using those like the maxi gun or the belt-fed grenade launcher, so many of those take your backpack slot from you, which it feels bad in my opinion. The autocannon is one of the few things I like give a pass to. Here I'm waiting on the last dude to make it, just making sure there's nothing near him. But it feels bad to give up your backpack slot because the backpacks are so good in this game. And that's like the way it should be. But the problem is they're like balancing these weapons around, or not around, but being close to. Here I kind of screw up driving and I just abandoned the car immediately because it's fucked. It's not really fucked. Like I think it was salvageable, but I didn't really want to worry about it. I was like, I'm just leaving. But they're balancing these weapons around like being similar to their like counterparts that don't require a backpack. And they should not do that. They should be noticeably stronger because they require a backpack. And I don't know. Like I don't know how to drive that point home like any further than like seeing the usage of like a guard dog with the grenade launcher. If I could use a guard dog for this, or if supply pack wasn't a thing and I had to use another backpack, I mean warp pack. Like there's so many good backpacks. I'm doing a very bad job illustrating this point, but you get the gist. I'll probably write it down somewhere and it'll sound a lot cleaner somewhere else. Here I'm running over to see if this is LiDAR. I want to know immediately if this is LiDAR just because it'll save me a lot of time. But then I get the message, I am in range of enemy artillery, and I realize that's not LiDAR. We have all 5 of our objectives because there's a sea salmon site next to extract, and one of these red blobs is going to be artillery. So here I'm looking in trying to find out if this one's artillery. It is not, but for some reason it doesn't tell me it's an outpost until I'm like standing on top of the fabricator. Yeah. But yeah, I think that the thing I'm worried about is Arrowhead looking at the usage rates of the grenade launcher, doubling on, not even like quadrupling on, I think, squids and bots, and then doubling on terminids, and then nerfing its damage or taking away stuff that lends itself to the grenade launcher's actual identity, like nerfing its rounds per mag or nerfing its damage so everything takes more shots. Oh, and it just feels worse to use rather than just walking back the change that was already kind of crazy. Like my two ideas are either A, leave it as is and balance things around this, which I would say you would probably want to buff literally everything in the game because this is kind of fucking busted. Here I'm shooting the dropship's bellies because it's way more efficient. You can kill the tanks before they even drop. It does create a little bit of a weird glitch where the tanks normally sink into the ground when they're dead, but if you kill them while they're in the air, they start their sinking, but they're just kind of sinking in air. At this point, like, based on how well the mission's going, main objective's already done, fortress is already done, I have a little bit of red left on the map, I can just fight the bot drops. This is like, you can see the floating tank up there, but this is like kind of like the reason I think bots are kind of easy. But whatever. I think they're a little boring. They also like, they kill so many of their own units with friendly fire that you don't like, your kill count is so low because they're just killing each other all of the time. But whatever. Anyways, yeah. So I think that they should either leave it as is and then buff around it, or they should walk back the buff. And its effectability and usability would not change at all. The grenade launcher is already incredibly good. It's just the fact that you have to swap off of it to use anti-tank because it's quite literally the best chapter in the game on pretty much every single faction. I recorded a video of me using only the grenade launcher for all of this. It is very good. The only downside was the need for anti-tank, which, like, I mean, that's what the rest of your build is for. You can optimize around that, but now you don't even need that. The grenade launcher covers everything. So if people are recommending a build and it has grenade launcher in there, it really doesn't matter what the rest of the build is. Just fucking use the grenade launcher for literally everything. It's like that, like the meme about where does this go? Does it go in the fucking circle hole? And the grenade launcher is the square hole. Everything goes in the square hole because you can just turn objects to fit that way. You can kill literally every single fucking enemy in the game with the grenade launcher, with the exception of like being like the Hive Lord, I guess, maybe the Leviathan. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Leviathan's armor stats, but it's just crazy that something that was already the best at what it did and could close bug holes as well in turn compared to other chapter weapons like Stalwart or Machine Gun. Those cannot close bug holes, and like Flamethrower, this occupies the same slot as the Sterilizer, which is just wild to me because this thing is so unbelievably good. That's why I'm advocating for them to either Earth change, because if they nerf it in any way outside of that, then they are going to either kill the weapon's identity or make it absolutely miserable to use, and then no one will use it. Or they leave it alone and then buff around it, which you could. I think it leans towards making the game very easy, but, you know, I feel as though I'm not, like, people playing alone and soloing D10 are not the ideal player base. Or not the ideal, they're not the player base that they're catering to. Arrowhead markets this as a hardcore cooperative shooter, and this, to me, is kind of not really that at all. This is, like, I cannot remember the last time. I mean, maybe I can remember the last time, but, like, I would be hard-pressed to be like, oh, yeah, I cooperate with friends all the time. No. The majority of the time, it's just like, okay, this is the objective. This needs to be done. I'm going to go do this. Hopefully my friend doesn't run through all my reinforcements. You know? But I'm not the consumer base that they are marketing towards, so I'm not going to complain about it. So upcoming is that the tree fucking, I hit the tree falls, I shoot the tree right in front of my face. It's kind of the downside of using the grenade launcher, but it is what it is. Also, this was a terrible time to get caught out with a whole bunch of shit because my grenade launcher or my resupply is on cooldown because I just called it because I thought I was going to be able to resupply them, and I wasn't able to. The factory starter drops like right in the middle of whatever the fuck we're doing. I have no resupply. I'm not going to be able to call it down in the last minute, and it's just, this is an all-around shitty situation. And I still have one little outpost to clear. So I start heading that way. I think I called down my supply pack. Also, I think if you're watching this video and you're seeing me talk a whole bunch about the supply pack and the grenade launcher, or seeing me talk all the time about the grenade launcher and ignoring the supply pack, which is the only other thing I'm using, it's because I think the supply pack is kind of fine as is. It's just so many of their weapons are balanced around ammo economy that the supply pack looks fantastic. Yeah. I wouldn't really nerf the supply pack. If anything, I would make its cooldown longer a little bit. But if you nerfed it further, it would really only be hurting solo players. Because, but like nerfing its cooldown would hurt multiplayer players, which is where the game is easier anyways. Because they would be able to only resupply their supply pack by using resupplies. Whereas solo players can just take the entire resupply for themselves, so it doesn't hurt them at all. That would be my my suggested change, but that's really up to them. I hope they don't like make it awful to use, because it would indirectly nerf so many weapons that are reliant on getting fed fuck tons of ammo from it. Here I'm realizing that the factory starter is still alive, and I am playing on this side of the rocks because it can just destroy this building. Yep. But the rocks it can't destroy. This entire faction is kind of just like, do you have cover? If yes, game is easy. If no, game is hard. I wanted to play on a harder map, but this mission was not available everywhere. It was only available in certain places. Here, I am trying to get the factory starter, get into the right position so I can kill it. And that's specifically because I wanted to showcase that you can kill factory starters with it. I just didn't really have a good opportunity to do it earlier. But now is a really good opportunity, as it's the only thing around. You stim, run under the machine guns before it can fire. And then, this is the old method of doing it, but it still works just as well. Because the belly is medium armor, so you can just fucking lay like a mag or two into it, maybe mag and a half. Yeah. It's not much. They're a little annoying because I think the machine guns have explosive resist, so you can't just fucking knock them off with the grenade launcher. But if you can get behind it, you're chilling. If you have to do a factory starter convoy, I would approach from behind for obvious reasons. Here I'm realizing there's no enemies anywhere for me to kill, so kind of just dead extract. Full map clear, all side objectives done, no more route on the map, easy day. Bots are kind of meh in my opinion. Yeah. This is the challenge, I guess. Grenade launcher is really, really absurdly good. If you want, I can redo this on like a 4-starter seed and try and find a factory starter convoy somewhere, but it probably won't be on the same mission, just because I had to look across like, I don't know, 5 or 6 planets just to get this mission type for continuity purposes, because all of these challenge runs are happening on the same mission type, just on different factions, and this is one of the few mission types that is available across all of the factions. Yeah, tomorrow's video will probably be grenade launcher supply pack versus bugs. Yep. Let me know if you want to see something else. I will probably not be using supply pack or the grenade launcher for a little bit after using it for so many missions solo. I think I'm probably gonna try using guard dogs, but if someone else has some other suggestion, I'm open to it. I will read out my stats and then I'll do my outro real quick. Again, also, if you're running bots, I do suggest like heavy armor or explosive resist or what's the other one? Ragdoll resist, but use whatever you want. 372 kills, 3 deaths, 26 stims used. Pretty easy mission overall. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.